Welcome to Chuchu's Guide to GFX. This video is a step-by-step guide on how to make this icon. So first of all, open up your studio. Drag and drop your RBXM file to your Roblox studio. Place your character at the 0, 1, 0 position. After that's done, just right-click your model and click Export Selection. Export your files to a new folder so the textures stay in that folder and they don't overwrite something else. Next up, go ahead and open that file. When this window appears, fill the settings out the same way as I did. Make sure you have a good look at this. Once the file is open, go in the File tab, Merge, and then merge the rig I've put in the video's description and then align it as such to the character. After that, you can select every part of the character and press Shift+C and then type in Center Axis 2 so you can reset the origin point of each part. After that, you need to name each part appropriately, as I have done here, to make it easy for rigging. Drag and drop the HA part under the head, and then in the line view, you can select all the lines and right-click and click Optimize. And then in the face view, you can select all the faces, go into the settings of the subdivision, and then select Loop and subdivide once. You may need to subdivide multiple times depending on the polygon count of the model. After that, you can go ahead and select the part you want to rig and select the 3 bones related to that part and go to Character and click Bind. Now you can move and bend the limbs of your character by rotating and moving the bones. Step 3 is the main meat of the whole process. I open my Octane window, I add a simple light, I have a simple pose. I've also just upped the specular of the material, of the whole texture material, and the roughness is at 0.5. After that, it's a lot of adjusting and readjusting, a lot of trial and error. I'll speed up this part, but you can slow down and see what I'm really doing here. I'll highlight the main parts. After that, I'm going to add a second light. I'm trying to see which position is the best for it, and I end up adding it behind the character as well to create that rim light effect. And then there is a third light. I try to angle it as it's looking down on the character, so it lights up the front of the character as well, and it keeps the bottom of the character a bit darker. And then I'll probably adjust the intensity of this third light, because this is the fill light. It doesn't need to be the brightest. So I turn down the intensity, the power, and I'm trying out different colors as well as I do this. I add in an RGB spectrum node in the texture channel. This is an Octane node. I give it a color. I'm trying out different colors, but I think I end up with the red color because I think it looks best for the moment. Then I copy and paste this node to the other light we have in the scene. Then I change the color of this light to blue, and I angle it slightly more backwards so it's not showing as much. We don't want it to be equally red and equally blue. And then you can see me readjusting the position and intensity and color of all of these lights. You have to do a lot of trial and error to find out the perfect balance of everything. This takes mostly experience, but you can see me do it and you can probably make a good judgment after watching me. Then you can see me adding an HDRI in the Octane sky. I decrease the power of the HDRI so it doesn't make the scene too bright. And I also enable the alpha channel in the Octane settings so the background is transparent, and I've also checked the ACES tone mapping in the camera imager tab. Didn't record footage of this as I went by it really quickly. Then you can see me adjust more values. I make the lights invisible as well, so they don't appear in the camera. Then I'm just adjusting and adjusting to get the right lighting for my character. Then I applied the normal map that was in the character's textures and also the roughness map. As you can see, I'm constantly adjusting and readjusting lighting as I go. This is very important because as you go, you will notice more and more things that are out of place or need more adjustments. Next up, I start setting up the scene by adding a plane. And then after that, I open up Quixel Bridge to go hunt for a ground texture. After exporting it, I immediately apply it to the plane and then change the projection to cubic. After that, I go to the material and adjust the displacement so the ground itself looks more 3D and realistic. Then I add some more 3D models to the scene. I adjust the material of this new 3D model to make it a bit darker and blend in with the ground material. Some light adjustments here and there as well. Now at this stage, I'm trying to find a better pose for the scene. I use a lot of references for this, and as you can see, I try quite a few poses here. Just Google some references and like for example, this is a samurai. I will search up samurai poses with this specific weapon and see which fits my scene and see which looks more interesting as well. And then I simply try to copy that pose over to a Roblox character. And then I will add a roughness map to the character to make a more... I'll change up the roughness map actually. I'll change up the existing one to a more metallic looking one, like metal with scratches. I got this specific texture from Polygon. I fix up the projection of the texture. I make it smaller so it's more visible, and then I also add a color correction node to this so I can adjust the contrast and gamma of this so it looks more visible, more metallic. You can see the results on the left render screen as well as I do this. Some more pose and light adjustments here. Like I said before, you have to constantly adjust these things as you notice more and more things. I settled with this lighting setup at the end, and I think it's looking pretty nice for the render part of it at least. And right after that, I add a VDB volume to it. I add a smoke effect. I think you can probably get some VDBs for free, you'll have to look. I adjust the values of this VDB and place it appropriately. This adds a smoke effect to the screen. It's rendered, so anything related to smoke or VDBs, it increases the render times by a lot, so be careful when you use this. You can hang up your software as well if you put the wrong values here. If you put a value that's too high, you have to be careful basically. It has crashed my PC so many times. And then it's finally time to render. I'll render this and save it as a PNG to open it later on Photoshop. After opening the render in Photoshop, I take a render of the character only without the scene so I can mask it out in Photoshop later. Next, it's time for a background hunt. I go to Shutterstock for a cave type background. I'll look for a while and see which fits the best in my scene, and then I eventually find one and put it as a background of my render. Then there's a lot of adjustments, color grading, adding the effects. I'll speed up this process. You can slow down to see what I do. What you need to be careful about is separating the background and the character as much as possible. So I'll be editing the background so it doesn't blend in with the character at all. And I will also add a rim light effect in Photoshop as well, so the character pops out more. You can see how I do this here. I just add a bevel and emboss effects in Photoshop and do some adjustments, make some contrast adjustments as well. I also add some clarity to the background and also make it really dark so it really pops out. Next, I'm doing the effects. You can see me adding a splash type effect that didn't really work, so I removed it, but then I add some smoke effects, some stuff that separates the character and the background even more. That's really the goal of the Photoshop part, so just make the icon pop as much as you can. I also added this cool particle effect, the fire particles. It usually looks really good and it matches the color scheme of the icon as well. After that, it's the lighting glow in the eyes. I really like this effect. I use it a lot, especially for really cool, edgy looking renders. And then I add a grunge texture to the background, not on the character, only on the background. So it gives the grimmish look. After that, I press Ctrl Alt Shift E to make a new layer, to merge all of this into a new layer, and then apply a camera raw filter to do some final touches. And we are finally done. Hit like if you found this video helpful, leave feedback in the comments, and thank you for watching.